they organized the march to parliament in protest to the gross corruption that was going on under the watch of Madame Anita Among. You saw the young people protesting. Many of them were jailed, arrested, tortured. Sadly, some of our young people were sodomized in custody. This was a shameful thing that the regime has tried so much to sweep under the carpet, but until we expose it, it's only when it's going to be stopped. Many young people were kept in jail as a way to discourage them from ever standing up against corruption. One of our comrades, Sammy of the Mighty Family, was the last one to be released on that count. On an even more sad note, the National Unity Platform was very disappointed to learn that even our then Deputy President was involved in this corruption scandal, this money heist at Parliament. We were disappointed to learn that he sat together with other parliamentary commissioners and awarded himself 500 million, which they claimed that it was a retirement benefit. Even if he gave himself that money, only 11 months in office, he had not even made a year. Anyway, as a National Unity Platform, we had to stand firm. So we called him out on that. We asked him to return the taxpayers' money, apologize, and resign his position at the commission. As expected, the regime defected him, and as we speak, he is still in the parliamentary commission, even when the party that appointed him to go there recalled his name. But we do what we can do against the corruption until we have the full capacity to weed it out. We've continued in 2024 to see worrying state of our economy. We've seen hundreds, if not thousands, of young people daily leaving our country, jumping on planes to go to Arab countries, searching for greener pastures. We see lines and lines of very young boys and girls going to slave in unknown lands. And we've constantly seen and heard stories of torture, stories of dehumanization of our people. Unfortunately, there are reports of very, very minimal or zero assistance from our embassies in these countries. Of course, because our embassies have been used to spy agencies of the regime internationally. One of the most embarrassing things that we saw this year was the flawed national census. Uganda carried out a national census this year, but we saw reports from the field. Many gadgets were malfunctional. Many citizens, a huge chunk of citizens, were not even counted. And at the end, when the final report came, we saw glaring inaccuracies and questionable statistics. Some communities of Uganda were shocked to be informed that they only reduced in the past 10 years. They only died. They did not procreate. They did not produce any children. Of course, it was very embarrassing, but so are the goings on in Uganda. Moreover, this became even more embarrassing because they had a whole decade to prepare, a whole 10 years to prepare, and that is what come out. Goes further to expose the incompetencies of this regime. So incompetent to carry out such a national project upon which so much planning of the nation is based, and then it comes out inaccurate. Very, very limited reflection of what the reality is within the country. This year, 2024, we continue to see the presence of the Ugandan military in the Democratic Republic of Congo. We all remember that this began in November 2021 under the claim of pursuing ADF rebels. We saw bombs going off in Kampala, and very quickly our military was deployed in the Democratic Republic of Congo in November 2021. It's 2024 now, but we have had reports, including the United Nations report, accusing Uganda of supporting M23 rebels in the Democratic Republic of Congo, of stealing natural resources and minerals from the Congo. Now, this is a UN report. We all should remember that the last time our military went to the Congo, they plundered the Congo, stole natural resources, timber and minerals. They raped women and carried out a whole lot of gross human rights violations. And we were dragged to the International Court of Justice. The Ugandan taxpayer was condemned to pay to the tune of 1.2 trillion shillings to the Democratic Republic of Congo. In simple terms, they went, they plundered, we paid, or we are paying. This money that we are condemned to pay, it is you, my fellow Ugandans, and your child and your grandchild that are going to pay. So now we can all imagine what is going to come out of our presence in the Congo right now. If the UN report has claimed that Uganda is involved in plundering Congo again and supporting rebels in a foreign land again, you and I can now imagine what to expect. Fellow citizens, this year we continue to see tragic disasters, and sadly most of them were avoidable. We saw a garbage slide that more than 30 lives were lost, but on ground the claims show that many more people died, and some are actually suspected to still be buried under the garbage. The whole village was covered by garbage, and this was a result of mismanagement of garbage. We saw in Chigogwa a fuel tanker exploding and killing. Official reports show us that 11 people died, but on-ground reports show that many more died and others were wounded irreversibly. We saw the landslide in Ulambuli where more than 20 lives were lost. Unfortunately, those that rule over us do not attach the same importance to these lives. We saw Museveni responding to the Kitezi disasters, and they said that they voted badly. We even saw clips of his Prime Minister, Nabanja, making jokes at a scene of a disaster. That is where we are, and that is the kind of leadership that is imposed on us. In 2024, and this is important to remind fellow Ugandans, that our public debt grew to over 97 trillion. Now, this is almost double our national budget. 55 trillion of this money is borrowed from those countries that Museveni calls foreign meddlers. Now, you all can tell the hypocrisy. When he is borrowing money in your name, the money that you are going to pay, he calls them development partners. But when they call him out on abuse of human rights and democracy, he calls them foreign meddlers. That's the hypocrite that rules over us and shows more need and more urgency to get rid of him as soon as we can. We've again seen rising abductions in Uganda. Very unfortunately, we've exported the same nasty habit to even our neighbors in Kenya. We've seen so many abductions. Many of our people are still missing. But the most recent is the abduction of Dr. Kiza Besigye from Kenya. Dr. Besigye and Haji Obedi Sale from Kenya. They were illegally abducted from Kenya, brought to Uganda against international law, without any, extradition, legal extradition arrangements. They were brought to Kenya and court-martialed. Of course, we continue to condemn that, but condemning it is not enough. We must fight to practically put it to an end. Because now, we, the people that used to export positivity, we are exporting abduction. And the cancer is slowly catching in Kenya.